All right, thank you so much. Our next session is titled Application of AI in Finance. It will be led by Boris Nelkin. He's the Innovation Specialist at Deutsche Bank. He is a member of the Deutsche Bank Innovation Lab in New York. His primary responsibility includes leading global finance, treasury, and tax groups in the discovery, design, and rollout of new technologies within Deutsche Bank. Boris supports startup and innovation culture through identification of use cases and development of implementation strategies to improve efficiency and financial metrics within the bank. About 12 years of his career were spent with major global banks implementing a variety of regulatory programs, including EBA, COREP, and CCAR and Dodd-Frank. Please join me in welcoming Boris to the stage.
Hi, everybody. How are you? So I just spent about 15 minutes listening to the panel before, and this will probably be the least AI/ML specific topic. I will probably just cover bits and pieces of it, but I think the application of it in very specific finance areas is extremely important. So just to add a little bit to the innovation labs at DB. So we have 5 locations. We're almost 4 years old. We have pretty good global coverage, and we have about 40 people overall. Each person has a global responsibility for a specific business, technology, etc. So this kind of gives you what the Innovation Lab does. So we do meetups, we do hackathons. We brought in a GPU machine from NVIDIA to play around with. So we do client meetings, invite executives, and just we have to make sure that the space looks full. So this is my interpretation of a finance organization. These are the immediate examples of functional areas where, let's say, I help to better themselves, improve people's skill sets, etc. So I'm not going to talk about specific risk functions. I'm not going to talk about, let's say, treasury. I will just concentrate on finance. So on the right-hand side, you'll see these 4 circles, 4 pillars, but they are extremely important to me because they drive process. And I think when we talk about AI or ML, this is almost undervalued. So timelines, we have endless number of timelines. We have either internal deadlines for MIS reporting. We have external timelines for regulators. We have things that need to be delivered daily or annually. And of course, nobody here has any data quality issues because everything is perfect, right? So data quality is another Achilles heel probably for everybody. And we always have endless working groups trying to address it. Systems and tooling. So this goes to your internal systems and tools that used by other vendors in conjunction with your strategic systems. I would say that a lot of budgets for many companies goes into improving this and making sure that everything is always optimal, updated, etc., and basically up to date. People. So technology moves very, very quick. New applications come out all the time. Yesterday, VBA was cool. Today, it's Python. How do you improve people's skill sets to make sure that they can use tools that are available today to be efficient and quick? So definition of AI, I think everybody has seen these pictures or depictions of where machine learning fits into the bigger AI paradigm. So I would say that we're going to probably touch a little bit on the supervised learning piece. And I will not even go into the other bits and pieces because, honestly, the finance organization, at least within those areas, does not have that level of sophistication to use that. Probably because the regulators would ask questions that we are not ready to answer. So this chart, I probably did a terrible job with it because it's not even like to scale. But let me try to explain this. So anytime you look at processes that reside within any function group, I always think of it like a curve. So out of all the processes that a team has, how many of them are like truly manual where people should not even be doing it? Like it's like a very basic copy and paste, or doing a VLOOKUP from a mapping file. I know that every big organization does some bits and pieces of it. So if you don't, you're probably lying. But it does exist. And then you have the complete opposite spectrum, and that is where machine learning slowly comes into play. So stress testing, for example, CCAR, there are bits and pieces of linear regression. So that is, I guess, a sliver of machine learning. If teams are using more sophisticated RPA solutions, you will probably also have an aspect of machine learning in it. And then I think the up-and-coming concept of process mining. So like we started looking at process mining and gather insights from large processes that are out there. So one example is, say you have a run book or a playbook. It might have thousands and thousands of steps in it because you have hundreds of people are involved. How can you extract a value out of it? I'm sure there's a way. There are software vendors out there that do a very good job with it. So it's a useful thing to do. And then there's everything else. So whether we're using self-service tools, which would probably fit into the general area of this graph. This is where probably the bulk of the work is. I'm not even going to mention Excel because we love Excel and it will definitely go there as well, but hopefully not to the left-hand side as much. So I might actually go through this pretty quickly. Finance. So I would say that in summary, that the examples that I gave, you may have fewer applications of machine learning, and I think that's okay. Like you don't have to apply machine learning to everything. And the areas where we'll probably reap the biggest benefits of machine learning would be your stress testing, your forecasting and planning, maybe further investments in RPA. There you will have bigger exposure to it. And then there's a process optimization. I think it will bring a lot of efficiencies. And do not underestimate, of course, your infrastructure upgrades and the usage of self-service tools. This goes without saying that data quality has to be addressed one way or another. Each institution is different how they handle it, but I think the consensus is they're all more or less the same. And continue to invest into your people. Cannot stress it enough. Skill set will help. It will honestly keep people happier. It will ensure by exposing them to new tools, you'll be able to invite new people to join teams, and they will not feel out of place. So I think I did this a lot quicker than I expected, and maybe I actually blew through it. But do you guys have any questions along the way? Yep.
Question is, so you work for DB, I work for Citigroup, so big organization.
Right.
How do you know about solving the data quality challenge? Because that's primarily the main issue for technologies like ML, AI, and so on and so forth, to be truly effective and actually deliver the value that they can actually deliver in finance. And data quality is a biggie because you have fragmented, system architecture that
right.
everything is built on. So I just don't really know how you guys are looking at that and what your thoughts are.
I think everybody aspires to have one golden source, one data warehouse, where everybody can connect to with the REST API, and they will work, with 5 nines of reliability, and everything is going to be perfect. That's the I would say that's the ultimate goal. Between let's say regulations like GDPR, Chinese firewalls, and everything else, this is a massive, massive undertaking. But I think we're all on the same page. Yep.
I have one. Actually, building on top of his question, you have the other side, right? Which is when you're building a company and still in early stage of it, how do you avoid a pitfall in order to don't have to build on top of several
existing systems? Yeah.
Exactly. How do you actually plan to avoid that and have a flexible architecture?
So if you're starting today, it's a lot easier because you don't have things like on-prem, off-prem. Like you can go, chances are you're likely to go off-prem. So cloud is huge. A lot of architectures that run in the cloud, they will not burden you the same way how systems are with how the systems work. For example, on-prem, and you need good architects, like people who design, let's say, general ledger systems, or you go fully off the shelf. Does it help?
Yeah, it kind of does if I really understand technical issues like that.
Right.
But kind of help in a way.
I mean, we can chat after as well. Yep.
You mentioned that you got some NVIDIA machines for your lab to play around with.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the use cases you're testing, or maybe other applications for deep learning and GPUs that you have?
So it's along those lines, but I really cannot talk about it. Good one, though.
Can you please explain a little bit more, like with respect to supervised learning? Can you give maybe a use case and maybe explain how does it different from unsupervised learning?
Yeah, so supervised learning. This is just let's say your vanilla linear regression, just basically your regression based code. So like a linear regression is what your modelers would use for your typical model building that's used, for example, in CCAR, and everything else is where you application of a company like WorkFusion, where they have a bot that can learn from previous inputs of humans and learn as the users provide additional input. So next time, the user input is not needed. Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Good. Please, no difficult questions. Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's
Thank
give
you,
him
everybody.
a round of applause.